27th of December. Take a look at the sky. Every day the temperature is going up. We have artificial sky, artificial cloud, artificial wind. It's all about the electrification of the atmosphere and changing mankind and creation, the transformation of mankind and creation into the image of the beast. Look at this sky. Couldn't be more obvious. Yesterday, this all day long, and today as well. I mean, you cannot get this type of electromagnetic, I almost want to call it compression on the sun unless you manipulate it. It's not the sun because the sun has been sprayed in front of. And of course we have the magnetic blue and white. And you can see that the blue is sublimating and falling down. It's just really bad. You know, yesterday afternoon it started clearing off and then they began to spray. They were spraying, but just like they are today, they can do whatever they want. Yesterday was a holiday here. There weren't that many flights going. They're not, these craft are not commercial airlines. Commercial airlines look completely different. First of all, a commercial airline flying is readily recognizable as such, whereas this craft that's drawing these lines is not. It's much too small. You can see that this is going straight down and then there's a line. It's a vortex. It's vortices as far as the eye can see, soaking up the real atmosphere and exchanging it with this crap. Now take a look at all these trees here that are down. This forest used to be full, and now look at it. It's just been ravaged. Very, very sad. Not only is it sad, it's lawless. It's against the law, what they're doing. And yet, who is going to indict the lawmakers? The kings of the earth and the rulers who have set themselves against God and nature. Take a look at this. It's a huge vortex. Absolutely disgusting. Take a look at all these lines going down like spokes. Wind turbines in the sky, wind turbines on the ground. And we've got water everywhere also. Just take a look at all this water we have. It's like the Great Lakes. But I'll tell you what, if they stopped the rain, then this water would all disappear within just a couple of days. I've seen it now. I've been witnessing this for the last couple of years. Interesting too is if you read in Job chapter 14, it says that even if a tree is cut down and dead, the scent of water will revive the tree and make it blossom again. So why are so many trees dying? They should be blossoming with the scent of all this water that we've got all over the place. Take a look. Here we've got the river that's running over the sides because of the water. Yesterday afternoon it stopped raining and the sun came out and they put the glow ball on it. I don't know what the temperature is today, probably something like 13, 14 degrees. I don't know. I don't like looking at the temperature because I know that it's false. I hate availing myself of falsehoods. And you might ask yourself, why do you listen to the radio? Well, mostly I don't. I do turn it on every once in a while. Usually every day for a couple of minutes just to hear what they're talking about. And there's always it's the same topics over and over again. It's like maybe 3-4 topics and they just go through them and then they repeat. And Nothing new under the sun. It's all just wickedness, and it's just, you can feel, it's the evil is palpable. The low vibrations that you feel from this fake weather, and people not understanding what's going on, people not caring what's going on. The last couple of days I've become aware of a trial that took place in the United States between the people of Michigan against Shanda van der Ark, S-H-A-N-D-A. Her last name is van der Ark, F-A-N-D-E-R-A-R-K. This woman, together with her son, starved her 15-year-old son and his 15-year-old brother to death, and then they put him in ice-cold baths, so he froze to death, in other words, and starved to death. He weighed 69 pounds when he was murdered. And this woman, they went through the court process, and when it came time to get her verdict, she said she just didn't. She was going to make use of her right and not hear the verdict of the jury. And I've listened to most of the trial. Normally, I'm not into listening to trials. I know when I was young, my mom listened to Watergate and Oliver North and all that stuff, and it turned me off, and I just thought, oh my God, or even O.J. Simpson. It was always the same old, and you know, you already knew it was a foregone conclusion what the verdict was going to be, but with this woman, I wasn't sure, and anyway, I just couldn't believe my eyes and ears, what I was seeing and hearing. And then the woman was she's, well, if you're interested, watch it yourself on YouTube, but she's, you know, her answer to everything was, I don't remember, sir, I don't remember, sir. He said, we've got pictures right here, we've got testimony right here, we've got videos, we've got text messages. Well, sir, if that's what it says, I just can't remember. Really disgusting. You know, the woman would kill her son, murdered him premeditatedly, and after the fact said, well, I don't remember, and I didn't think that anything was wrong, and I didn't know what I was doing, even though she was studying law herself, and she was a court, I believe, transcriber, working her way up to become a lawyer. And anyhow, that's how that went. And on the day of the verdict, she decided to make use of her right not to hear it. Can you imagine that? She is just denying that she needs to hear the verdict of what she did. And you know, to me, this is just so typical. Look at this now, what they're doing. They're gonna have this blue blob in front of the sun and scrape back and forth in front of it, and then the blue blob is gonna fall down, and we're gonna have the glow ball again, and then the temperature will go up. This is how they get the temperature up, with this sky that's sprayed in, quite obviously. Anyhow, it just kills me that even the prosecution said she does not have to hear the verdict. What does that mean? The defense lawyer was interviewed, and he said, well, she will probably appeal. How can that be possible when it is just beyond any reasonable doubt or any question that this woman and her son murdered 15-year-old Timothy Ferguson? That was his name. He had a different name than his mom because his mom remarried. And there is no doubt. And she needs to hear the verdict. Because if she doesn't hear the verdict, that means she doesn't accept it. And if she doesn't accept it, that means she's going to try to repeal it. Can you imagine? And even the prosecution said, well, that's okay. That's fine. So they're pronouncing a verdict on somebody who's not even in the room. Can you imagine? Anyway, I'm just telling you this because it really made a big impression on me. I couldn't believe, for the most part, what I was hearing. and seeing. But it is just really symptomatic of the wickedness of the world, the lawlessness, and how lawlessness, look at this, how lawlessness is being rewarded. You know, even the judge said, okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. She doesn't need to hear the verdict. And to my mind, that means there is no verdict. We went through all of this rigmarole. We went through this monkey court. I think you might call it a banana court. I'm not sure what they call it. That we went through all these shenanigans. A little boy, well, not really a little boy, but I mean, he was starved to death, so he was thin, emaciated, froze to death under the auspices of his mother, who kept cameras on him day and night and sensors. He was given hot sauce to eat. It's called Elijah's Revenge. I think that's what it was called. Very hot sauce. Sometimes he would get it on bread. Sometimes if he was naughty, he'd just get it poured straight down his throat. And that would be his meal. And if he were to try to get food out of the cupboards, he couldn't do it because there were locks on the cupboards and sensors and alarms. Can you imagine? And this woman says, I'm not going to hear my verdict because I have the right not to. You don't have any rights. I've been reading in the Bible recently, well, let's say today, in Numbers, and it says repeatedly, one of the last chapters in Numbers, repeatedly it says, the person who commits murder shall be put to death. The person that commits murder, or who commits murder, shall be put to death. I think it says that something like 5-6 times, over and over again. And this woman has the audacity. She just murdered her son, and the last words she said to him, which were on video, which were relayed by a policeman who had to watch the whole video of this boy dying, breathing his last. She said, you know, you owe me the biggest apology in the world for putting me through all this trouble, and once you've apologized me, maybe I'll let you go to the bathroom. And he was breathing. I guess he didn't respond, and he was breathing through his mouth, and she shut his mouth, and she said, you don't breathe through your mouth, dummy. You can breathe through your nose. Can you imagine that? And this woman has not even heard her verdict yet, because both the judge and the prosecution said that she did not have to, because that was her right not to, because they were afraid that she might do something to herself. Can you imagine that? Crazy world.